Hey, everybody, and welcome to my space. I'm trying to get Nicole up. There she is. And I see Natalie has joined us as well. Nat, if you didn't see the little pop up of me inviting you up to speak, just request in that bottom left corner, and I'll send it again. Sometimes it pops up so quickly you can't get clicked on it fast enough. So, anyway, we'll wait for Nat to get up here too. But meanwhile, welcome, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good, Sherry. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm going to give you a little introduction and we will get underway. First of all, hey, Nat, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. I'm glad you could join us for a few minutes. I know you're busy too, so I'm going to get right to it, okay? Just to introduce our guest, Nicole Melichar Martinez was born in the Czech Republic, but now calls America home and is a professional tennis player and a former USA team Olympian. This year, Nicole is ranked 10th with her 28-16 record and has two titles and over 270,000 in winnings just for this year. Her career doubles record is 404 slash 326. Her highest dubs ranking was sixth in the world in 2023, and she has earned nearly $3 million in prize money. Nicole has 14 doubles titles. That includes a 2018 Wimbledon mixed doubles championship with her partner Alex, and I think it's Paya.
Paya, yes.
Paya. Thank you. Nicole and her mixed partners have made it to the quarterfinals of the 2018 US Open and the semis of the Australian Open and French Open in 2019 and the semis of the French Open again in 2022. In women's doubles, Nicole and her partners have made it to the finals of the 2018 Wimbledon, 2020 US Open, and the semifinals of the 2020 and 2023 French Open, and in 2021, the Australian Open. Nicole was named to the Fed Cup team with her in 2019, partnering up with Danielle Collins, who is currently on the U.S. team. Um, Welcome again, Nicole. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you for having me. That was a very nice introduction. I learned a couple things about myself.
Ah, you mean you don't read up on yourself every day? Well, I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my daughter. Natalie has joined us for those that may be just tuning in. And just so you know, I know, Nicole, you've not done a space before, but not only do we get a lot of people that'll pop in live to listen, but we will get a lot of people that'll listen to this on replay or on recording. So it's kind of a unique situation here in the spaces. But Natalie, my daughter Natalie Plisko to Hamburg is here to join us. And I know Natalie has been working tennis camp and she's getting ready for a big pickleball tournament that she's hosting on campus this weekend. So thank you for joining us, Nat.
Oh yeah, pumped to be here. Even more pumped to talk to Melkar. I haven't seen her or talked to her in a while, and she's absolutely killing it. So what an honor to be involved in this space right now. This is really cool.
Yeah, it's nice to catch up, Nat. I miss playing doubles together. We need to jump on the court again.
I know. Throw it back a little bit. We had a lot of really good memories for sure.
Yeah, no, we had great times. That I think that's the best part about tennis. We have memories forever from all those tournaments. So that's really cool.
All right, Nicole, give us a Natalie and Nicole story. Does
Hmm.
a time you guys played together stick out? A memory stick out?
I remember Natalie getting mad at me.
No,
I
yes.
actually think Natalie helped me improve my backhand volley because I was trying to poach, and she's like, "Well, you can't poach just sticking out the racket and like wishing to hit it. You need to like stick your racket out, but like have your body weight behind it." And I think my backhand volley actually improved a lot after that, and it's actually nowadays my favorite shot. So I think I need to dedicate that to you, Nat.
Natalie, press that mic button.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
guys. Sorry. Did you guys hear me?
No.
Sorry.
Nope.
No, I was just saying. It's just really neat. Like we start at the 10K level, just grinding, like doing pro-ams to just make a little extra money. And we always had such a good time just like serving the community and doing that. But just to see where she's at now, where she's got cars and people are escorting her around and she's in all the slams, like it's actually really inspiring. I mean, she was willing to go to some of the not plays best tournaments and the best places in the world, and just stuck with it, and now is just reaping all these really neat benefits from it. So
And we're so proud of you, Nicole. And Natalie touched on something that I do want you to talk to our audience about. And that's what the grind looked like back in the day when you started out. Tell us some of the things that you, as a player that really had her sights and her goals set on becoming an accomplished pro player, unfunded, you were funding it yourself, your parents, your family. Tell us some of the things you had to do in order to make these dreams come true, please.
I mean, I think Natalie touched base already on one of the things, playing pro-ams just to make a little bit extra money. I think every week, especially in the US when we were playing those tournaments, just to earn, $40 or $50 to step on the court for an hour or two with the amateurs, to have a little hit and giggle, every week in and week out would add a lot to the pocket, even though it doesn't seem like much. It helped pay for the groceries that week and stuff. And just at the tournaments, again, especially in the US, they would offer housing, and we would stay with all these wonderful families that would offer to host us for the weeks. But I remember flying and buying the cheapest flights to go around the world, and then I didn't mind a long layover in the airport. I would sleep on the floor of the airport. I learned pretty quick you need to find carpet instead of tile, because the carpet was way warmer to sleep on and a bit softer. But yeah, just really truly believing in yourself, and then just taking it one week at a time. And I even went a couple times to a tournament not having enough money to pay for the flight home, just to make sure I had enough motivation that I really needed to win to, make enough money so I could book a flight home and things like that. But
God bless you, kid.
it
God
was
bless you.
it was a grind.
I used to worry about you. I used to tell you that. I used to worry about some of the shit you were doing in order to accomplish your goals. It used to make me nuts because you were so young at the time, early 20s,
Mhm.
and you were literally searching on the internet for the cheapest flights to, and it
Mhm.
could be some like, bedrock, Flintstone bedrock of USA airline that Nicole would book a ticket on for $99 to get her from, Fort Lauderdale over to, say France or the UK so she could go play or whatever. And it was, she would tell us her stories about arriving in a town at 2 or 3 in the morning and, trying to find somewhere to go stay and not knowing the landscape or where she was, or it was, some of the stories were, you know as a mother, hard to listen to a kid, a young lady put herself in those predicaments. But Nicole, you were so determined to make it, and that's what it took, because unfortunately, people have heard me talk about this in spaces before. Unfortunately, our federation does not do much for anybody until they make it big. And Nicole is a prime example of that. Nicole, tell us, you and Natalie had a chance to play in Germany.
In
The two,
Nuremberg.
the two of you talk about how, like, you, Natalie, and Nicole, you guys talk about to us about how you guys like set yourselves up to get that was it a wild card, or did you guys get in on your ranking? But where you guys were when you found out, and like, how did we set ourselves up for that?
So I remember Nat and I were supposed to play, and the entry deadline, there were two tournaments that week. There was Nuremberg and Strasbourg, and the entry deadline for Nuremberg was one day sooner. And I remember writing to Nat like, hey, we're going to get into Nuremberg. But I think Nat at the time was all the way in the south of France in St.
Yes,
Gavins.
in Marseille.
Or in Marseille,
I think we
maybe.
were in Marseille, maybe. Yeah.
And you guys wanted to go to Strasbourg because it was obviously closer. But I was like, well, I don't know if we'll get into Strasbourg, but we're gonna get into Nuremberg. So Nat was like, all right, let's go there. So I think you guys took somehow like 16 different trains probably to get there in I don't know how many hours. And of course, we draw the number one seeds at the time, top 10 in the world, Lisa Raymond and Liesl Huber. And I mean, I think
Oh god. Do you
yeah,
remember
they gave
that?
us a
It's all coming
complete.
back slowly to
That
her.
actually makes me think about probably one of the best memories we had together is when we were getting smoked by them because that's what was happening. And someone in the audience said, like, yelled out loud, like in German or something. And I turned to you because the audience like started laughing. And I was like, what did they say? And you knew, I think, a little bit of like German or whatever. And you're like, they said something like, yay, good job, you got a point or something like that. And I was like, oh my God. Oh,
It
God.
was, I know we got our butts completely handed to
Yeah.
us that match.
But
Anything Lisa touched was just,
literally,
gone. I think the best part of that was the next day they invited us to come and
yeah.
practice with them, or at least Lisa. I don't remember if Lisa was there as well, but
Yeah.
I remember hitting with Lisa, and I think we learned so much in that practice the day
It was
after.
insane. Like, it was such a cool opportunity. I just remember being in the match and being like, man, like Lisa Raymond slicing, and I'm like, hey, like normally when someone slices and doubles like all over it, and like her slice was like disgusting, and it was like harder than a normal ground stroke. So I'm like, she was like passing us left and right on the slice, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, towards the end of her career, and we were like, man, this is what it takes to be number one in the world. Like, it was unreal. And then that next practice day, that session, that was like such a really cool opportunity for us to just learn and play with obviously the best in the world again.
I love that story so much because you guys both were so excited to tell it and have great memories. And you guys got your asses handed to yourselves on a silver platter. And it was still a great memory because you were taking advantage of a situation and you got to be coached and practiced by the two number one players in doubles in the world at the time. And it was an amazing experience. I was happy to be in the background along for the ride for sure. And we had set up ourselves. Natalie and I took a train to a border town. I don't even remember if it was Strasbourg or whatever, on the border of France and Germany. And as soon as we got the word you guys were in, then we hopped another train and made it the rest of the way to Nuremberg. And it was amazing. And after being in France, and anybody that's ever been to France will understand this statement, after you spend any time in France and you get to go to a lovely country like Germany, it is such a nice change.
Amen.
And for those that know, you know what I'm talking about. Nicole, tell us tell us about your experience. You know, the Olympics are kicking off today, right? And we're
Mm-hmm.
all excited about that. Tell us about your experience, like when you were chosen to play on the last Olympic team. Do you remember like how you got the news, or was it just a ranking thing so you knew right away it was going to happen, or who called you with the news, or how you get the news, and how excited were you?
Yeah, so at the time, I remember it was the week before Wimbledon. I was actually in Eastbourne, and the captain called me, Captain Kathy Rinaldi. She just called me directly, and because we knew it doesn't go by ranking for doubles. So I'm just going to clarify how like the actual rule works. So,
Perfect. That was going to be a question too. Go ahead, honey.
so the rule basically states that and this is the ITF rule, that if you're top 10 in the world in doubles at the ranking deadline, you're guaranteed your spot in the draw of the Olympics as long as your federation nominates you to the team. So there was a misconception that a lot of people thought, oh, if you're top 10 in the world, like you get to play Olympics no matter what. You still have to be nominated. And then there's like a second part of the rule that if you're top 10, you can play with anyone ranked inside the top 300, as long as the federation nominates them.
Okay,
So
so when you're talking about the top 10, are you talking about doubles ranking or singles ranking?
doubles ranking,
Okay, perfect.
singles does go down the ranking list as long as you've played enough Billie Jean King Cups, and as long as you have all your boxes ticked off with the requirements, it goes down the ranking list by ranking. But in doubles, it is selection basically.
Okay,
So yeah,
go
so
ahead.
I was ranked 9 in the world at the time. I was top ranked American, and Kathy Rinaldi called me and she told me that I'm going to be part of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. And I was thrilled. I was absolutely over the moon because, I think it's a dream of anyone to become an Olympian. And at the time she told me I was going to be paired with Coco Gauff, which unfortunately ended up not happening because we had to get COVID tested 3 days leading up to going to the Olympics, and Coco tested positive for COVID on her last test the day
Oh,
before leaving,
oh,
which was a bummer because obviously she had wanted to play at that time. So this is her first Olympics this year in Paris. But I fortunately had the honor of playing with Alison Risk. She was one of the singles players. So
and we are big Allison Risk fans.
I love Alison Risk, I think, and yeah, you guys too. I know you guys are great friends. She's a wonderful human being. She just recently had a baby, so she's a new mama. But yeah, no, I was really excited to play with her, and it was a great experience to play together.
All right. And so when you arrive to Tokyo as an, official member of the team and you check in, what does that look like? Like, what is that kind of behind the scenes look like? Do you have a roommate? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I played during COVID. Just remember that.
Oh,
So
yeah,
there,
that's right.
I'll leave all the COVID details out of it because that's.
Please.
But Team USA Tennis actually didn't stay in the village. We stayed at a hotel. So we were staying at the hotel with Team USA basketball and soccer. And I remember the very first day I was jet lagged and I went to the gym at 5 a.m., couldn't sleep. And one of the basketball guys, I'm the first one there, and one of the basketball guys walks in. And I obviously know he's a basketball player, but I don't follow basketball, so I have no clue who this guy is. And he was pretty famous. It was Draymond Green, who plays for Golden State Warriors. And I asked the dumbest of questions, asking, oh, so like what team do you play for and how long have you played for them? And all the questions I probably should have known had I followed any basketball at all.
Have you started to study the sport of basketball now that you put yourself in that situation?
I definitely would have had I been going to Paris this year. I do know, obviously, LeBron James was the flag bearer this year, and Stephen Curry, and I knew a few faces from this
Okay,
time. But yeah,
so Natalie, you want to tell her who's coaching, Natalie? I don't know. Nat might be working. They're trying to tape
Yep,
down the pickleball
I'm here.
courts right now.
Sorry.
Natalie, you want to tell
Yep.
Nicole who's coaching this year since
Yeah.
we're
So
trying to? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So our head coach at Gonzaga here, Mark Few. He's obviously one of the best coaches in the country and notorious, and one of the winningest coaches on the men's side. In that he's actually one of the coaches for USA this year, which is actually pretty amazing. And I actually love that story about you not knowing who Draymond Green is. I actually
That's awesome. And how many Zags, by the way, just as a sidebar, Nat, do you know off the top of your head how many Zags are on that USA team or associated?
Team USA, I'm not so sure. I do know two Canadian guys that are going to be playing for Team Canada. I don't think there's any Gonzaga guys on the USA team, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay, no worries. I appreciate that, and you're right, because I think I retweeted something, and it was the Canadian team. Now that you said that, of course, our team is loaded with the NBA players.
Yep.
Duh, Sherry.
And
Um,
we have a girl, Ejim, who's on our current roster, who's coming back next year. She's actually playing for Team Canada too, so that's pretty sweet.
that is awesome. I've watched her play live. She's a hell of a player.
That's very impressive. That's a
Yeah,
lot of
we're a
good players.
basketball school. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Pretty awesome. All right, Nicole, we're going to go into some other facts about you. Um, what's your favorite surface to play on?
You know, I'm kind of torn on this. I would say grass, but I feel like it's because I just appreciate it so much. I love it, and the season is so short. However, my best results overall have been on hard court. So, my favorite, yeah, because I love it, is grass, and my favorite, if I'm gonna bank on, bet on myself to give myself the best chance of winning a match, I would probably say hard court.
Well, and it's so funny because when I wrote this question down, I was like, obviously it's clay. She grew up in Florida, like duh. And she likes to slide on hard courts. I saw you so many times in life slide when you played on hard courts. So it's really interesting to me knowing you that hard courts is your favorite. Interesting. And grass your second. All right. I like it. Okay, you brought up the baby thing. So any plans for you and Carlos in that line of
Yeah,
talk, or what are we doing?
absolutely. I mean, not yet, obviously. Still would like to play a little bit longer. But I'm becoming an auntie for the first time next month. My sister is due next month.
Oh,
And
bless Jane.
yes, and she's older than me, so it was her turn to go first.
I like it. I
So then,
like it.
hopefully in a couple of years, and maybe a year or two, hopefully
And
I'll look soon.
no pressure. No pressure. No pressure whatsoever. Okay, so let's get down because I'm sure some of my audience members want to know. There's been some rumblings about why you were not selected to the Olympic team this year.
Hmm.
And I know you addressed it in a tweet not too long ago. Can you, you've already told us about how the selection process works. Um, what's your opinion about being overlooked? Do you think the selection process needs to be changed? Like, what's your opinion about being overlooked this year?
I do think the selection process needs to be changed. I actually wrote a letter to the ITF, asking for a fair rule change, because I understand in team sports such as maybe basketball, soccer, football, you don't really have like a ranking and it's up to the coach to put the team together, and I know difficult decisions need to be made. However, in tennis, even though it's a team sport, we still have an individual ranking, and I think that should be honored, and I think there should be a specific criteria. And the ITF rule currently says if you're top 10, you're guaranteed a spot in the draw, right? So that's it, make that the rule. Make it, if you're top 10 at the deadline, you can play, and your federation, not if your federation picks you, just make a criteria where
Right.
us as doubles players have it in our own hands. If we are top 10 in the world, or whatever the criteria is, we can have it in our own hands, and if we do it, then we qualify ourselves. And then if not, if the criteria is top 10 and we're ranked 11, then it goes on to selection, and you know what, that's fine, but at least we have the option. We're giving ourselves something to fight for. And I obviously am very disappointed, I was not picked, and I think I would have been a great option. And I think there are a number of players. Obviously, America is stacked with the amount of fantastic doubles players we have, and I think they could have made a lot of different combinations. But I think I was in the right to be, as the number one American and their only top 10 at the time in doubles. I think I was in the right to have been selected.
And I could not agree more. And for those that don't necessarily know about the ranking in the world of tennis, um, first of all, doubles players are not treated the same way as singles players. And that goes from start to finish with tennis. It just is the way it is for a majority of the players. They focus on singles and they use doubles as extra income. But for doubles players like Nicole and Natalie probably would have went down that road eventually. For the doubles only players, it's just the opposite. They focus on doubles, and when they can sneak into a singles tournament at a tournament that they're playing doubles at, they will for the extra money. So it kind of, doubles has always not slighted, but it's just not been as important to the main street of tennis. Am I right about that, Nicole? Is that a fair
Fair statement, absolutely.
statement? Thank you. Thank
I
you.
yeah, we're singles is the priority, and I think it needs to. I'm not saying that singles and doubles should be equal. By all means, no, because let's face it, no one grows up dreaming of winning a Grand Slam in doubles. Everyone
Right, right.
to be a singles champion. However, I do think doubles players do need to be brought up and respected more than they are, because
And
the
and
discrepancy is too big.
and it even goes back to, you know, um, Natalie and Jackie getting into the U.S. Open
Oh,
in
that was
doubles,
terrible at the time. I
right?
remember you girls played together, and you were the best ranked American team that didn't make the cut, and you didn't get a wild card. I remember that
Right. And
perfectly, and
there
you
were,
deserved it.
and there were, I think, one or two other teams that never even had a ranking together, got the wild cards. And of course, it was politics, right? And it was bullshit.
Hmm.
And those rules need to be sped out or outlined so that you players know what the goal is, and the goal doesn't change because of politics, right?
Yeah.
And so, um, I agree with you that
Hmm.
rules need to be made, and the goals need to be outlined. What is my goal? Oh, if I'm in the top 10, I'm going to make the Olympic team. Okay, I get it. I know what my goal is.
Hmm.
We tell our kids set goals, and then the federation doesn't set, the bar, so we know what the goal is. So it's
Hmm.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, going back to when you were on the Olympic team, tell us the matches you played and against who.
So we were originally supposed to play against Croatia, against Daria Jurak and Donna Vekic. And Donna Vekic had a crazy long singles match, and after she won, she ended up pulling out of the doubles. And in the very last moment, we actually had to play against Arani and Paolini,
Oh,
whom
lucky
at the
you.
yeah, whom at the time they weren't well, Arani had already been number one in the world and won several slams, so of course, had a high level of respect for her. But Paolini hadn't played much doubles at the time, and wasn't that highly ranked in singles. And so we were thinking, that's an all right draw. We actually ended up losing the doubles format is you play two full sets, and if you split, it's a 10-point tiebreak. And we ended up losing in the 10-point tiebreak. And it was a great match. It was super late at night. It was under the lights. It was very, very hot and humid. And I don't remember the exact score, but I do remember it was very, very close. And
Yes,
obviously, it was a bummer to lose it.
of
And
course, you left
then,
everything out there.
yes. And then there was also, again, kind of I don't know, political decision or what, but I was again highest ranked American, and Bethany Maddox Sands was ranked a few spots behind me. But Rajiv Ram was also in the top 10, and they decided, because at the time you were allowed to have two mixed doubles teams. So they decided that their best chance of performing well was Bethany with Rajiv, and then they paired me with Austin Krajicek. However, pairing me with Austin Krajicek, we were actually number one on the alternate list, so we didn't get into the draw. So they were I guess, willing to take that risk, thinking, oh, if we're number one on the alternate list, we actually might get in. Whereas if they had paired Bethany with Austin, they would have been maybe 2 or 3 on the alternate list.
Right.
So they were trying to get 2 teams in. However, Bethany had won gold in Rio in mixed doubles. So, and she obviously, her overall tennis resume is much better than mine. She's won several, I don't know, 7, 8 Grand Slam titles. So, of course, on paper, it seems like she's the better choice. However, I was, again, higher ranked at the time. So I was very bummed to have not had played mixed doubles. And Austin and I ended up not getting in. So yeah, that
That's
was.
very so unfortunate. And
Yeah.
again, we got to tell people what the bar is, and so you guys know what what you're trying to achieve and your goal, and not backdooring people into a team that they don't have the ranking to be on. Quite honestly,
Well, I
um,
actually think something similar happened this year. They put Coco Gauff and Taylor Fritz into the mixed doubles, and meanwhile, Desiree Kravchuk, she's won 4 Grand Slams in mixed. She just played the French Open final in mixed. She played the Australian Open final in mixed just this year, and they put Coco Gauff into singles, doubles, and mixed doubles to play 3 events in 9 days instead of maybe just playing her singles and doubles, giving her 2 medal chances, and then giving a very legitimate um doubles player who's won slams and doubles, to play doubles and mixed doubles. I mean, I think Coco is absolutely capable of competing in mixed doubles. That is not my argument at all. I
right,
just
right,
think
right, right, right.
I just think Desiree is just as good of a choice.
And why not both? Why not give them both the opportunity?
There, sorry, there's only one mixed team this year. They've changed the rules. There's only one
Oh,
mixed team per country.
well, that's unfortunate. Now,
Hmm.
were the rules changed? So, I just, sometimes when I hear stuff, I'm thinking, okay, was it a legitimate rule change or was it a rule change to fit our agenda for this year? And next year we're going to do something different. And I only say that because, as you and Nally know, that happens all the time in the world of tennis. That all of a sudden, we've been going by these rules for 10 years, and all of a sudden this year we're going to change it up. And then next year, oh, by the way, we're going back to the original rules. So it just doesn't, I don't know, it just kind of smells sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. I don't know why the ITF decided to make a smaller mixed draw. I mean, the Olympics is only once every 4 years, and you shorten it from a 32 draw to a 16 draw, and just let one team per country instead of a 32 draw with 2 teams per country. I mean, once every 4 years. Come on.
Yeah, at least two. Yeah, let's do the draw of 32. Come on, people. If you're going to have the sport in the Olympics, do the draw of 32 for sure. Okay, so let's talk about, tell us about how you did at Wimby this year, since it was recent.
We need to come up with a slightly better questions. I feel like I'm just being a downer right now. Um,
No, this is the tale of a tennis player. I mean, this
well,
is what
un
happens.
well, yes. Unfortunately, I got injured in the finals of Bad Homburg. We actually ended up winning the tournament. It was in the match tiebreak where I felt something in my leg, so I
Oh.
actually went into Wimbledon injured, and I wasn't
Okay,
practicing.
wait, wait, wait. Let's stop for a minute. Let's go back to the tournament. You got injured in the final. Who
Hmm.
were you playing with?
So I was playing with my partner Ellen Perez,
Okay.
whom I've been playing with we're into our 3rd season now together, and we're playing against Kudermetova and Chan.
Okay.
And we were in the match. We were in the match tiebreak, and I think I took a funny step, and that's when I felt my leg. However, you're already in the match tiebreak, so you're kind of really not thinking about.
Oh, I know. I know how you guys are. You just, that adrenaline keeps you
Hmm.
going.
Yep. And then after the match, was definitely feeling my leg a lot and took some days off leading up to Wimbledon. And of course, I did my best and tried to play. We actually won our first round match, and didn't need to move too much. We served and returned very, very, very well. we played against British wildcards, Sarah Beth Gray and Tara Moore. And so we did manage to get through that one. And then in the second round, we played against Tamea Babosh and Nadia Kichinok. And we ended up losing in 3 sets. And we had 4 rain delays during the match, which
Wow.
was slightly brutal. I've never had so many rain delays in a match, but it was great because I could collect a lot of towels. Because every time you take them
Those
off the court,
Covenant Wimbledon towels.
yes, you take them off the court, you come back to the court, you have 2 new ones. So I guess you
and I'm
guys
just
can.
going to say that goes back to the days of sleeping on a Coach airport floor that you needed to have a towel with you. So now you grasp those towels.
Exactly. So,
Oh,
so yeah, we unfortunately lost in 3 sets. However, to be fair, it was going to be a tough match regardless, healthy or not. So
right.
I'm not saying we would have won had I been healthy. So because they're obviously great players as well. And then I ended up not playing. I was supposed to play mixed doubles with John Pierce, but I ended up pulling out because it wasn't possible to play.
Okay, so have we MRI'd it, X-rayed it? What's the...
Yes, so I injured a muscle behind my knee called the popliteus, and it is kind of like the one like the knee stabilizers to like the tibial head, and it attaches like to the calf muscles and stuff. So it's a very very small muscle that controls a lot of things in your leg. So I've hurt that one, which is actually super rare apparently.
You and Natalie have to injure the super rare tiny thing. Hers was the size of a kidney bean.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, so going to the U.S. Open?
Yes, I mean, I'm rehabbing and recovering and doing my best to get on court as soon as possible. I was supposed to play in DC this week, this upcoming week. However, I'm still not ready to get back on court yet, but I'm hoping to be ready already for Toronto, which is in 2 weeks.
Awesome. Coach Blascota, if you can hear us, what would you be having her do since she can't use her legs? Let's see if
Oh,
she's
you got to get in the pool, girl.
in the pool, but what about the bucket?
Oh, yeah, sit and hit. That's a good one. Sit on
Down
the
that
bucket,
bucket,
girlfriend.
Nicole.
Man, Nicole's so good now these days. She don't even need to practice. She can go in the open and win that thing.
Oh, I love your confidence in me. I definitely need to go sit on that bucket because it is very different when that ball is coming at you and you haven't seen it coming at you in a couple of weeks.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I love that so much, but hopefully that is going to be behind you soon. And, we will pray for it. Now, I need to make a little announcement to our audience members. If you guys want to join us for Olympic trivia, I need you to hit the request button so you can come up and be a speaker and we could do some Olympic trivia. And, if nobody wants to do it, that's fine. No worries. But if you do want to play, please hit that request button. Or if you have some questions you would just like to ask Nicole, she only has a little bit longer with us because it's her dad's birthday. And he would never forgive me if I kept her and they're supposed to go celebrate his birthday. So we got a few minutes left. So go ahead, Matt. Welcome.
Hello there, lovely to talk to you, and also to Nicole. How are you doing? Are you keeping okay?
I'm good, Matt. How are you doing?
Very good, thanks. And I've been watching some of the tournaments that you've been in, a bit, particularly the Wimbledon one. I think you've mentioned before, and you were absolutely fantastic. We're hitting that ball like no tomorrow.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you could watch and support.
Who's your inspiration to get you involved in tennis? And past or present, who would you like to face if you had the opportunity, and why?
Well, my inspiration was definitely my family. My sister is 5 years older than me, and I always wanted to be better than my big sister. So I think that was a big motivation for me from a young age. And then players wise, I mean, former player, I think Kim Kleisters was also a big inspiration growing up. She was incredible. And then I also wish I had the opportunity to play mixed doubles with the Bryan brothers, either one. I actually asked Mike one year to play mixed with me, and he's like, I'm not going to play, but if I change my mind before tomorrow, like, I'll let you know. And he never did. But then I ended up actually winning the mixed doubles a year later. And he was like, wait, you asked me to play last year. And I was like, yeah, see, you could have had another mixed title. So that was just like kind of a nice banter between the two of us.
Oh, it's fantastic. How do you? What's your training regime like before you get on the court? Do you eat before you start a match, or you know, do you train, like a few times before you actually go on the tennis court?
I think it depends the time of day that we play. If we're morning or maybe early afternoon, then I'll do like a 45-minute pre warm up for like before I even step on court. So I'll do like some exercises in the gym and like my whole dynamic warm up and running around and stuff like that, and make sure I get like tape or physio as well if I need to. And then I'll usually hit with my doubles partner or with my coach for 30 minutes before the match. And then if we have an evening match, I would say anything probably later than 6 o'clock. I would probably do like a full practice in the morning for about an hour. And then just before we're about to play, just try and jump on the court to hit a few balls, probably for like 15 or 20 minutes, just to make sure I'm getting on court like very, very warm.
Wow, sounds like your training regime is very intense, but absolutely fun. That is fascinating. Did you hear about Andy Murray retiring? And have you met him? And what was he like?
Yeah, I did hear he's retiring. So hopefully he can do well at the Olympics. I'll be cheering for him for sure. Actually, I do know him and I've played against him. I don't know if you remember when Serena and Andy played together mixed doubles at Wimbledon back in 2019. I was actually the one that made Wimbledon sad because my partner and I beat them in the mixed doubles. So that was actually a really fun experience to share the court with Serena and Andy.
But the USA was cheering.
Yes, they were.
Can I make a little confession there? I was actually cheering for for your team to win, to be honest with you, because I had a feeling that the way Andy Murray he were playing brilliantly. Don't get me wrong, he was fantastic, but I must admit, Nicole, you showed him how to,
Thank
how to
you.
play the game. Put it that way. Sorry, Andy, if you're listening, but there you are. But he was very good, Andy Murray. Though I did like the way he played tennis. I mean, obviously he won his first Wimbledon crown, so I have to mention that. But it was amazing. But Nicole, when you were saying about the mixed doubles with the IOC, you're absolutely right. They need to do a much better job of making the rules a little bit fairer. Would you agree with that as well? Or would you see changes if you were allowed to give your say?
Okay, hold on for just a minute, you guys. And Nicole, I'm going to let you answer that, but I got a message from Natalie. Nat, go ahead and turn your mic on. Want to thank you, Natalie. It has to go because they're trying to
Sorry,
set up for the
guys.
big
Oh, hang
pickleball
on.
tournament. Go ahead, Nat.
Sorry, guys. No worries. It was a pleasure. Nicole, keep killing it, dude. We're always watching you. We love you. You're amazing. Proud of you though. You're kicking ass. Keep doing it. Everybody else, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Love
Thanks
you,
so much,
girl.
Ed.
Take care,
Thanks
Natalie.
for help.
Thank you, sweetheart. How could I
Um,
have you on and not have her come to join us, right?
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. I appreciate that. That was really nice. A nice blast from the past. And I hope the new mama is doing well.
I hope so too.
Go ahead, Matt. Or go ahead, Nicole, if you can answer Matt's question.
Yeah, so I do think there just needs to be a set rule, a set criteria,
Yeah,
whether it's for singles, doubles, mixed doubles. And if the rule in mixed doubles is the highest ranked player, whether singles or doubles, gets to choose if they want to play, well, then that's the rule and you go by that. Or if you've won a Grand Slam in mixed doubles within the last year, just create a rule and stick to it. Don't just make it off selection, because then it just becomes too political.
definitely. Very, very well said. What would you say in terms of prize money? Do you think the prize money should be equal to what the men get? Because did you hear with Wimbledon as well? They didn't make it fair. The men seem to be getting more than the women in terms of prize money. Maybe they could do something around that as well. Would you say?
Well, in the Grand Slams, the prize money is equal to men and women.
That's good.
Where it's not equal are most of the tournaments outside of the Grand Slams. There are a
Yeah.
few where it is the same, such as Indian Wells, Miami, Madrid. And I actually think if all the tournaments could have equal prize money where we play the same format, and then the Grand Slams had it different because the men do play 3 out of 5 sets in singles, I do think that would be fair. However, in doubles, whether it's men's or women's doubles, we play, the same format, 2 out of 3 sets. So in doubles, they have no reason for anything to be for the men to make more. It's only in Grand Slams and singles.
Oh yeah, that seems to, now that you've put it into that perspective, it makes more sense. I think.
Okay, I see Dave down there. Dave, I know you're a
Thanks
huge
for having me
tennis.
on.
Wait a minute, Matt.
So
Dave, I know you're a huge tennis fan. You sure you don't want to come up here and ask any questions about your favorite player? I'm not going to call you out on who it is, but you're more than welcome to do so. Just hit that request button. Go ahead, Matt. Did you have any other questions or comments?
oh no, I was just going to say it's been a pleasure being on and talking to the brilliant Nicole as well. Wish you well in every tournament that you're going to be taking part, Nicole. Look forward to watching you over here and hopefully come see you play over here when you come across the pond.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Matt. Have a nice evening.
You as well. Look after yourself.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate those questions, and you're always in it to pick the brains, and I love that. I love that about you. You're just as curious as I am, and it is fun to hear. So I appreciate you, Matt, and I appreciate our listeners that are tuning in and those that'll listen on replay today. Nicole, is there anything you'd like to share with us? Any stories, um, funny or serious? Doesn't matter to us. Before I let you escape to Daddy O's birthday party.
Ooh, if you give me a topic, I'm sure I could think of something.
All right, let me think for a minute. Let's see. All right, favorite foods.
Oh, I love to cook. Okay, so this is food regarding food. So this is a question I ask almost everybody, and I might ask all of you listeners. You can chip in, but I will ask you, Sherry. If you have these 4 things and one of them has to go forever, which is going? Which is
Okay,
going bye-bye? You have rice, pasta, bread, or potatoes?
pasta. I could go the rest of my life and never eat another noodle.
Ah, that was a very quick answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
hands down.
Okay.
Hands down, it's pasta. What about
It's
you?
Well, originally I said rice, but then, no rice, no sushi, or
Yeah.
you have to think of all the things, and if there's no bread, there's no pizza, and if there's no potatoes, there's no french fries. So I I think I might have to go with you on that in pasta, but it would be very difficult for me to give up any of the 4 because I love all of them. But yes, I think I'm with you with pasta.
All right, Matt. What would you give up, Matt? Oh, is he still? Are you still on my screen, he's still shown as a speaker. There he is. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi, sorry about that. I had some technical issues. You know what it's like with tech. Never trust it sometimes.
True that.
Okay, sorry. What was the question again, Sherry? I missed a bit of it.
That's okay. Go ahead, Nicole.
Out of these four, if one of them had to go forever, which would it be? You have rice, pasta, bread, or potatoes. If you had to give one up for the rest of your life.
Oh, Nicole, that's a very, very hard question. And just like I say, I will throw it. I will giving you it as well. I don't know because I like them all. To be honest with you, I'm kind of neutral.
Yeah, no, but if you had to pick one, what's going to be the least painful?
The least painful. Oh, well, I love rice. I love rice. Definitely love rice because rice gives you a lot of energy and protein, and especially I know with your sport, Nicole, as well. You definitely need that high energy, don't you, when you're hitting that ball along the court?
Mm-hmm.
But what was the two other foods again? Did you say? Sorry.
Rice, pasta, bread, or potatoes.
Oh well, seeing as I like the other. Oh no, this is really hard.
I love it that it's so hard for you, Matt. You must be a little bit of a foodie yourself.
I am. I do love my food. Mind you, I've got a bit of a tummy to prove that. I'm trying to lose it best I can. I'm sorry to say this, but I think it has to be potatoes.
Potatoes. Okay.
Oh my God.
No more
No
French
way.
fries.
No way, dude.
No more French fries for me. I think rice and everything else, rice and pasta, definitely all the way. But oh wow.
I'm going to tell you something. I can live the rest of my life on potatoes alone. So there's no way in hell I'm giving up potatoes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I want to welcome John and Dave. Go ahead, John.
I just was going to say I'd get rid of rice and I wouldn't even think twice about it. Just gone. Don't care.
I love that so much. Go ahead, Dave. Welcome.
Yeah, I'd get rid of rice as well, John. We're kindred spirits, pal. Hi, Nicole. Thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us. I have a question. I'm not sure you want to answer it or not, but I'll ask it anyway. Can you give us a fun behind-the-scenes story from like when you're on the tour with whoever you hang around with, some shenanigans or hijinks that you may have gotten into that we could all laugh about? Obviously, discretion is the better part of valor, but those are the kinds of things that interest me. Something behind the scenes, you're on tour, you're hanging out with your besties. Something funny that happened.
You know what? I'm putting me on the spot here.
I know. Sorry.
All right, listen, I'm going to give you a minute to think about that because a story popped into my mind immediately. And I don't know if you were at this tournament when it happened or not. So we will keep the names anonymous, of course. But let's see if you even heard about this story or if you were at the tournament with us. It was in Vancouver. Excuse me. And one of the girls was in a housing situation. So she was being housed with a family. And
Are you sure this wasn't Albuquerque?
And no, this is definitely Vancouver, Canada. And I can't remember if the players' party was at that home or I don't remember all of the circumstances except the host family was gone. Mm-hmm. And this female player and a male player, because it's one of the few tournaments that the men and the women play at the same location at the same time. That doesn't happen very often. And the female and male player decided they were in love or lust or whatever. And they decide, the family wasn't home. They had an empty house, but they decide to go into the attic.
I have heard this story. I saw the pictures.
Yeah, they decide to go into the attic and fool around sexually. Let's just say that. Uh-huh. And they fucking fall through the ceiling of the host family. And when you hear the young lady is a friend of Nicole's and Natalie's. When you
Uh,
heard her tell the story, at, like the next day or the day after, when whenever you got to hear it straight from her, it was hilarious. Because then they're trying to figure out how the hell they're going to tell the host family why they were up in the attic and how they fell through the ceiling. Oh my God. So go ahead. That's my story. Do you have one you'd like to share?
Sherry, that is a great story. I completely forgot about that, and I remember who the girl was. And I can't remember for the life of me who the guy was, but I
Yeah,
can.
I can't remember who the guy was either. Maybe Natalie would remember.
Oh, that's too good. I remember another one from Albuquerque when one of the players, she was staying with her mom also in housing, and I guess they somehow left like the toaster on or something, and the house caught on fire and the house
Oh,
burned down.
I don't think I remember that story.
Yes. Oh, that was a terrible one.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yes, that's why
That
when
tournament probably never hosted families or
no,
players again.
after they didn't allow housing anymore for
Oh,
the
that's
players.
a killer.
Yeah, no, that was funny. But no, I think you always just somehow hear about the gossip and just recently I remember there were rumors of like Yannick Sinner and Kalinskaya, like if they were dating or not, and it was before it was confirmed, and I saw her on the practice court because I was walking on the practice court after her practice and she was walking off, and I kind of just looked at her and I was like, so are the rumors true, yes or no? And she kind of just looked at me and smiled, didn't say yes, didn't say no, so obviously she hadn't denied it. um and yeah, just like things like that.
I love it. I don't know. My listeners know that I am very handicapped when it comes to pronouncing names, and every day during the WSOP in the summer, I hosted a space, so 53 days in a row at 12 o'clock noon Georgia time. We, myself and Brian, and a lot of times Donna hosted a show space, and we talked about poker. And a lot of times I have to pronounce a lot of names from different countries around the world, of course. And is there anyone else in this space besides me thinking that Nicole should be my sidekick just so she could pronounce those names for me? Because she's got it figured out. But Dave, did you want to ask Nicole any other questions or talk about any other players?
Who's the toughest opponent you've ever had, Nicole?
You know what? I mean, obviously there have been so many, but I've struggled to play against Sue in doubles. Just I think her unorthodox style with the two hands on both sides, hitting very hard, but then being very touchy, and then just kind of swinging at all these volleys and just being so unorthodox. You have no idea what's happening next. I've definitely struggled against her, and I think she's an incredible talent because you just can't teach that in tennis. Um, and then I've also struggled to play against Laura Sigmund just because she's so feisty. She's very quick at the net. She's in your face. Her and I are actually like pretty good friends, but like on the court, she's a bitch. She pisses you off. Like everyone on tour knows it. She'll play all the games to, take time away or say come on in your face, and she doesn't care. And that's how she is on the court. Off the court, she's great, but on the court, she's kind of a nightmare to play against. So yeah, I would say the two of them. It's difficult to play against the Czech girls, but I actually don't mind playing them. It's just a matter of how to play them. It's just if you can execute. So yeah, I think it's more when I run into someone that has a little bit of a different style and they maybe don't have a very obvious way that they play. If they can offer a lot of variety or don't really have something you can poke at, I think those are the players that give me the most stress.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I get it.
John Robertson, any questions? Excuse me.
I don't really watch much tennis, so I guess not. Sorry. I
No,
like
it's okay.
I like pickleball though. Are you a pickleball player, or are you not making that transition?
I've played pickleball a couple of times. It's definitely fun. However, I love tennis and I support tennis.
Well, like my wife and I took couples tennis lessons years ago, and we played for a long time. But like, it's hard to go back and forth between the two. It's incredibly difficult to go back and forth.
I,
And
absolutely, and I agree with that 100%. I love that pickleball is very easy to learn, and it's easy to learn um, to have fun with it pretty quick, and then you can play with a variety of players. Whereas in tennis, you need so many lessons to even become a little bit good, and then to find someone at the same level, it's so much more difficult. So I think that's where pickleball really trumps tennis in that sense, especially
well,
from the recreational point of view.
from a recreational tennis player, like when you can't play in the wintertime where I live, like my skill drops off so far, and then trying to pick it back up in the spring was always a challenge too.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess pickleball being able to play it year round made it easier. So I was just curious because I heard Sherry talking about somebody was organizing a tournament earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also I don't know if you've ever tried playing paddle or padel, how they call it in Europe, but I think paddle is also a growing sport in Europe, and I would love for it to kick off in America because I think that's so much fun as well.
I think Natalie would be amazing at that one.
Oh, absolutely, she would be incredible.
Is that the one where it's like in kind of a, I'm not like a fence, but like a walled in thing, but you can like run
Yes.
out of the room? Yeah, I've seen videos. It looks insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a combination. The scoring is just like tennis, but then you're playing with a paddle, which is similar like pickleball, but then you're playing off the walls, so it's similar like squash, and then it's just doubles because they have no singles. It's just doubles, and I it's. You need your geometry skills. You need to go back from those high school lessons and relearn geometry just to know where to stand. No, I'm kidding. But no, it's great. It's fantastic.
I love that. Dave, I just saw your DM. I'm so sorry you're not feeling good this evening, and I appreciate you coming up here anyway. I love you for it. Just rest well, my friend. And he's been a little bit under the weather, and we're rooting for you, Dave. Feel better, my friend.
Thanks, Sherry. I appreciate it.
You bet, and I appreciate you. All right, Nicole, I know I told you I'd keep it short, so I promised you, and I'm going to keep my word. I appreciate you coming on and talking with us and chatting with us and giving some insight. And, I'm your biggest fan and always will be. And good luck, and we look forward to hearing more about your good things in life, honey.
Thank you so much, Sherry. It was a pleasure to come on. I enjoyed talking to you guys. Great questions, and everyone have a great evening, great day wherever you are. Great morning, maybe. And let's do this again soon.
Absolutely love you. Anytime you see I have a space up, you are more than welcome to drop in. We would love it, and I love you. And tell your mom and dad and Jane I said hello. Okay, honey?
I will do that.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. All right. Hugs to
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.